Contenders or pretenders here on this Friday edition of manhourradio.com, 9 p.m. East Coast time. We are live every Monday through Friday at 9 p.m. on YouTube and, of course, Facebook.com. Now, the Minnesota Vikings, guys, are they contenders or pretenders in this year's NFC playoffs? Can they win a NFC playoff game? That is a caveat of this week's contenders or pretenders. Can they win the wild card game? Now, the Vikings, guys, do have the playoffs locked up. They are battling for the number one overall seed with the Philadelphia Eagles and the Detroit Lions. If they win out, they do get the number one overall seed. They can be a first seed, fifth seed, or sixth seed if they do lose out. So as of right now, they are slated to be the fifth seed, and they will be playing the winner of the NFC South, and that is going to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or the Atlanta Falcons. Now, when we look at the Minnesota Vikings schedule so far this season, versus playoff team, guys, they are 3-2 versus playoff teams. They have win over the Texans, Packers, and Falcons. If the Falcons make the playoffs, which I do not think they will, but if they do have that win, give them that third quality win. And then they do have losses over the Lions and to the Rams. The Lions was a 2-point loss, and the Rams was just a loss that they should have probably won. That was back when they were losing back-to-back games. Like I said, they were going to. Now, when we look at the Minnesota Vikings, guys, their offense right now, they're ranked 12th overall, 346.3 yards per game. They're 8th in passing with 235.3 yards passing. Sam Darnold's putting up some good numbers, right? 16th in rushing, 111.1 yards per rushing. Man, that's a lot of ones. And then they're 9th in scoring with 26.4, and they're 9th in red zone scoring at a touchdown rate of 60.4%. All very, very decent, all very, very good, all very, very top-notch offensive numbers. However, this is where the shade or the controversy or my questioning the Minnesota Vikings is their defensive side of the ball. They do have the 16th ranked overall defense, giving up 335.8 yards per game. They are 30th. They are 30th in passing, giving up 248.7 yards per game. Now, they are third in scoring defense with 18.4 and second in rushing defense, only giving up 87.1 yards per game. They are also 14th in red zone defense, letting opponents score at a rate of 54.8%. Now, the Minnesota Vikings, guys, might be one of the biggest Fugazi teams out there. The Minnesota Vikings might be one of the biggest teams out there, right? Yes, I do understand they're 13-2. Yes, I do understand what they've won 8 games in a row. Yes, I do understand they're battling for a number one overall seed. But legitimately, who have they played? Legitimately, who have they played? Oh, Buck, they played the 49ers. Okay, the 49ers are complete dog poo-poo. We have seen that. We see that. Oh, Buck, they played the Houston Texans. You mean the Houston Texans that are struggling to tread water right now? Oh, we played them back in week 3 when they were good. They were never good. We talk about Fugazi's teams. The Houston Texans, they are Fugazi. The merch is in the store, guys. manhourradio.com. Oh, we played the Packers. Yes, you did play the Packers. You also gave up, a 28-point lead in that game. Well, you were up 28-7 going into halftime. Damn near lost that game, so slow it down, baby. Slow it down. Oh, Buck, we only lost to the Lions by 2. A Lions team that dominated you after the first quarter. You were up 14-0 on the Detroit Lions, and you let them come roaring back and damn near beat them. Oh, but then we beat the Colts and the Jaguars and the Titans and the Bears and the Cardinals and the Falcons and the Bears and the Seahawks. Those 8 wins, one of those teams have a winning record. One of those teams have a winning record. That's the Seattle Seahawks. Actually, they don't have a winning record. They have a losing record too. They're 7-9 right now, aren't they? 7-8, whatever it is. Guys, the Minnesota Vikings are pretenders. There is no question in my mind that no matter if they get the first overall seed, if they get the 6th seed or the 5th seed, they are going to lose their first round matchup, whoever they play. If they play the Bucks, they might get blown out. If they play the Falcons, they might get blown out. Now, let's say they are the number 1 overall seed, and they get an opportunity to play a team who, let's say everything holds face, and they play a 4 seed in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're not beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, period, in the story. Tampa Bay Buccaneers is a team you do not want to play in this playoffs. Simple, cut, and dry. Simple as that. Let's say the Packers or the Lions get up there, right? And they beat the Buccaneers in the first round. And then they got to travel to Minnesota to play the Vikings. Minnesota Vikings fans, do you guys legitimately think that you can beat the Green Bay Packers and or the Detroit Lions in the first round? I'm just saying. Do you legitimately think that you can beat that team? The answer to that question is no. The answer to that question is no. And Chill Guy says the Falcons do have a winning record. They do now. At the time, they did not. They did not have a winning record at the time. They were a losing team at the time. Hell, they lost 4 games in a row. I believe they were 6-7 or something like that. They were not very good. But Josh says, whoa, slow it down. They're contenders. I think that they can win one playoff game. So, guys, in the comments below, do you guys think that the Minnesota Vikings, are they contenders or pretenders? Can they win their opening playoff game? Whether it's divisional round, whether it's the wild card, it doesn't matter. I don't care if they're the first seed, 5th seed, or 6th seed, or 7th seed. It doesn't matter to me. Can they win their first playoff game in the NFC playoffs? And I'm saying no. So that makes them pretenders. And Alpha Rob says they are pretenders. I'm not buying Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold can sit on my pipe and smoke it for all I care. I'm not buying Sam Darnold. Alpha Rob, you are correct, and I agree with you. Now, let's speak about the Minnesota Vikings fans about how much they love them some Sam Darnold right now. Let's talk about how much the Minnesota Vikings fans love Sam Darnold. They love them some Sam Darnold. Yes, Sam Darnold is playing great football right now. The Minnesota Vikings are playing great football right now. They are. But let's rewind 6 months ago, 8 months ago. We signed Sam Darnold. That's stupid. Sam Darnold sucks. Why we signed Sam Darnold? And then all of a sudden you're blowing him. Can't have it both ways. You can't be saying, oh, Sam Darnold sucks, and then all of a sudden, oh, he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Slow it down. But I'm not buying Sam Darnold either, Alpha Rob. He is putting up great stats. What is it? 235.3 yards passing per game. Those are some great stats. Addison and Hawkinson and JJ, they're putting up good numbers. Hell, Aaron Jones is still got little legs in him left, right? But they get a little long in the tooth. The ball has been bouncing their way a lot lately. Those 50-50 balls have been more like 70-25 balls, right? Things going to be starting to come back down to reality a little bit. And it starts week 18 when they do play the Detroit Lions. King Henry says the Vikings are frauds. They are frauds. I think they're Fugazi. Chill Guy UT. Now, is that University of Texas or University of Tennessee? Chill Guy. Says Michael Penix is going to carry the Falcons to 10-7. Only hard game is the Commanders. I wish I had time to talk about the Commanders or prep to talk about not the Commanders, the Falcons. I'm sorry, because the Falcons are a team that I am confused about. I am so confused about the Falcons. I'll be sure to talk about them on Saturday. So chill Guy UT. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. And tomorrow at 9 p.m. we'll have the Toxic Table on with Mark and Coffee. And we'll be talking about the Falcons. Casey says, I personally say the Vikings are a true wild card team. They can win a wild card game. Yes, they are 50-50. And you know what, Casey? You are exactly right. I mean, maybe, just maybe, Casey, I've been a little too hard on the Minnesota Vikings. Maybe I've been so hard on them because their fan base is so, what's the word I'm looking for? Unrealistic. The fan base has just been so unrealistic. Now, I'm not saying that the experts did not say that they were only going to win 6 games, 7 games, 8 games. I think I had them, let me look to make sure. I think I had them at 7-11 this season, right? Let me confirm that. Let me pull up my V2 playoff predictor here. So I had them at 6-11. I had them at 6 wins this season. And many of the I had Mike Reeves, right? The Minnesota Vikings insider on here back in June. And he's like, look, it is a complete rebuild. It's a complete rebuild, and it's going to be 4 or 5 win season. Now, he is the first one to be excited, right? Who is not to be excited, right? 13-2 is exciting. Your team having success is exciting. But don't act like the success is not because you're playing. You are playing great football, but you're also playing some bad teams. You beat the Giants, bad team. You beat the Jets, bad team. You beat the Colts, a bad team. Jaguars, Titans, Bears, Cardinals, Falcons, Bears, right? All pretty bad teams. The couple good wins that you do have, the Green Bay Packers, I will give you that win. Even though you were up 28-7, try to give that game away. I will give it to you, right? The Houston Texans, that's a good win. Back they were Nico Collins out that game or not? I cannot remember. But either way, they were still pretty healthy. They were still pretty good, right? I will give you the Bears win. Playing a division rival on the road, it's a good win. 30-27, it doesn't matter. Still a good win. Beating the Seahawks on the road, that's a good win. 27-24. So legitimately, you only have 4 good wins on the season. The rest of them you were supposed to win. They were bad teams. Now, I understand that, hey, we were supposed to be bad too. I get it. It's a double-edged sword. But once you start going 3-0, 4-0, 5-0, expectations start to rise a little bit. I'm just saying. Just saying. Josh Olson says the Commanders will beat the Falcons on Sunday Night Football. We'll talk about tomorrow, Josh. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Chill Guy says, I'm already subscribed because it's fun hearing opinions. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Chill Guy. I try to be unbiased, but sometimes Vikings fans just get underneath my skin. I'm not going to lie. Nacho Gomez, it says, I want the Vikings to play the Rams in the playoffs so the Rams can put them out of their misery. Let's go. Nacho is just an LA guy. Anything LA, Nacho is in. Matt says, yes, absolutely they can beat the Green Bay Packers and the Lions. Stop hating on Darnold. He's one of the top quarterbacks this year. I don't care about years previous. He has more than 10 games with an over 100 QBR. So, Matt, you are correct. Sam Darnold has been playing out of his mind. I believe I saw a stat last week where he has just as many wins with the Vikings in 1 year than his whole 3 or 4 years with the New York Jets, right? 13 wins. QBR is a fake stat. I'm just calling it out. QBR is a fake stat. QBR is just a stat that ESPN made up to try to quantify of a quarterback being good or bad. It is just fake. But still, everybody does have that fake stat. And 10 games with over a QBR of 100. I thought 100 was the perfect score now since they readjusted it. But he has been playing good. However, I know you don't want to care about previous seasons. You don't want to care about the past, right? But sometimes the past sits there in the back of your head. Sometimes the past, like, man, I've been here before, and I don't want to do this again. But then you keep thinking about it, and then you start playing bad. Then you start doing this. Then you start doing that, right? It's just a snowball effect. And the simple fact of the matter is that Sam Darnold has never been in the playoffs. Never been a starting quarterback in the playoffs. Ginas 610 says, how many good teams did the Green Bay Packers beat? Let's look it up. They got the Rams, they got the Texans, and then they got the Bears on the road, right? And then they got the Seahawks. And then you have to give it to the Saints, right? Now, I understand the Saints were playing with their backups, whatever, right? Yada, yada, yada. It's still an NFL team that still pitched a shutout. You have to give that win to them. That is a shutout win. The only shutout of the NFL season. So they have just as many good wins as the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings. So I would say they both have 4 to 5 good wins. So even, right? Wasn't Darnold seeing Ghost Guy? No, not wrong. Not wrong. Casey says, Jets are just bad. They're getting old, beat up Rodgers saying there isn't this year, the same year after year. Makes you wonder if they're organization or just coaching. To be determined. To be determined. To be determined. Next year is always the next year, right? So, guys, that is the question. Are the Minnesota Vikings, are they contenders or pretenders? Can they win their opening playoff game? I'm saying no, and that makes them